Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm down to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my low, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate with like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones are down and I dare the shows. The way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shooting this breaks, I'm going in. In a new gig, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Hey, just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone.
Last time these two teams met, Ontario won by 60. Tonight, Clear Fork looks for revenge in the rematch. It's the Colts and the Warriors coming up next.
In today's world of supply chain shortages and disruptions, having raw material or finished goods inventory on hand to fill customer orders is more important than ever. Based in North Central Ohio and with locations nationwide, including 5 throughout the Buckeye State, MWD Logistics can find your business the warehouse space needed to manage your distribution and logistic needs. Grow your bottom line with flexible warehousing solutions at MWD Logistics.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mechanics Bank pregame show. I am Brian Harter along with Greg Collins, and tonight we are coming to you from Clear Fork, the home of the Colts, as they host the Ontario Warriors in Mid Ohio Athletic Conference play. And Coach, this is really a story of two programs that are in transition. Ontario, under the direction of head coach Tim Mergel in his second season, replacing Joe Baylog, and that is not an easy task.
Well, it's not an easy task. You're talking about a Hall of Famer. You're talking about, I'm sure, the winningest coach all time at Ontario. Great success. And, you know, Tim's following a legend.
Last year they were 8-15 in Tim's first season, 7-7 in conference play. This year they got off to a 5-1 start. The lone loss coming to River Valley, a very good River Valley team. But since then, Ontario has lost 6 of 8.
Well, they're going through a little dry spell, but they did get a W earlier this week. And there seems to be a couple of teams in the conference. And actually, you probably could, I put 3 teams in there. Certainly Shelby, River Valley, and it looks like Marion Harding are 3 of the class teams. And Ontario's trying to find their way into that group. Marion Harding and River Valley are trying to find their way into the group with Shelby's.
We'll talk more about Tim Mergel and his transition into the program as the game goes on. But when you look at Ontario offensively, Gage Weaver is really the guy that everything goes through. He's their leading scorer. He's shooting about 55% from the floor, and he can do a little bit of everything. He also creates turnovers.
Well, he's a gentleman that gets the ball to the basket. He scores in the 2-point. You said 50%. That's inside the arc. He's struggling a little bit outside the arc. So if you're Clear Fork tonight, find a way to keep him away from the paint and get a little bit of pressure and check him out on every shot.
Well, and they also have Braxton Hall, Braxton Hall, I'm sorry,
right.
Who's a guy that can shoot the ball from the perimeter extremely well, shoots 40% from behind the three-point line.
Well, they've got a few guys, Braxton Hall being one of them, that are very good shooters. And it just seems like, as long as I can remember, Ontario has developed good perimeter shooting. But if you're Clear Fork and you're trying, listen, hey, you're going to have to try some things. Whatever you tried in that first outing back in December obviously didn't work. Now you're playing at home. Now you got to try some things. I still think if you're Clear Fork, you want to force the perimeter shot. Yeah, someone like Braxton Hall, get a little hand up in his face, a little bit of pressure. But force the perimeter shot. Don't give Ontario anything easy.
While Tim Mergel is in his second season, Clear Fork is under the direction of first-year head coach Tim Bradford, and he is a guy who has been around basketball a long time in North Central Ohio, coached a lot of traveling teams, and he's a guy that, with varsity experience, though this is his first head coaching job at the varsity level, but I don't know if there's anybody more prepared to take on the challenge of rebuilding this program than he is.
Well, and he was quite a player himself, had a lot of success, and he's been around basketball, as you said. He's been around athletics in this area for a long time. Even though he has not coached at the high school level, he has been close in going to high school basketball games over the years, so he knows what each school, what each team has to offer.
Now, he has a guy, this is a program that over the last few years has really not had what you would call a dominant score. But they've got guys like Victor Skoog, who was the quarterback on the football team, a very good athlete, and he's a very good basketball player. And one of the challenges that Tim Bradford told me about before the ball game was getting these guys to develop their abilities as basketball players and not just as athletes.
Well, and that's what people forget. You know, they think, well, geez, they have great athletes at so-and-so school. Well, maybe they do, but you have to have some skill for your sport. In basketball, it's a game of skill. And the more skill that you have, and certainly the more athletic ability you have, the better you're going to be as a basketball player. It's going to take time for Tim to get in what he wants to get in skill-wise. It's going to take off-season work. It's going to take dedication during the season to keep progressing. And it seems like over the last, 2-3 weeks, they're playing better basketball.
Yeah, they've had kind of an up-and-down season in his first year. They traveled to Galion last Saturday and won their second MOAC game, defeating the Tigers 62-54. Adam Van Osdale led the way with 14 points, and he's a guy that can give them some offensive punch.
And I remember him playing JV a couple years ago, and he is somebody who can give him some offensive punch. But go back to that Galion game. They're down 10 at half. Now, you're talking about a program that last year didn't win a basketball game. When you're down 10 at half, it would be very easy for young kids just to give up and say, hey, it's just not going our way. But they found a way. They're competitors, obviously. They found a way to battle back, made some adjustments, and came up with a W.
Well, and he told me that second half that you're talking about against Galion is where he really saw where this program is now as compared to the beginning of the season. And just like we saw with a couple of programs suffering through football season, I don't want to say suffering through football season, but having that success in the football program run over into basketball season, it really put him behind the eight ball because they made a long playoff run going up to Elyria Catholic before they finally bowed out. So he said he had a lot of his core players that he was waiting on to even just get things in offensively, defensively. So at the beginning of the season, they struggled. He goes, but now he is really pleased with how well they're playing.
And it is difficult. I've been in programs where football's had great success, had good tournament runs, and we've had some key players playing in the football program, and you feel good for the kids. As a basketball coach, you would like to have them in the gym doing some skill work, doing some shooting, but they can't do that. But the one positive it is, they're coming in with a winning mentality. They're coming in expecting to win, expecting to be successful, and that's so much easier to work with a young man instead of somebody that just feels like defeat is around the corner.
Now, I would think when you were at Mansfield Senior, I don't know if you felt that as much. As successful as the football program was, you also had more kids.
Yeah.
So your core maybe necessarily didn't play football.
Well, it seemed like we would have one or two or three players from our core players that were football players, but how it worked out, especially when Stan Jefferson, who's now the superintendent, when Stan was the football coach, it was so easy to work with him during the summer. It was so easy to get the kids in the gym, get the kids to go to shootouts, and then also go to their football requirements when that was needed. So, if you have a good relationship with your fall sport coaches and your basketball coach, it makes life so much easier.
Well, you talked about the winning aspect, and although a lot of these kids understood what it was like to win on the football field, they struggled last year going 0-23 on the basketball floor.
Well, you're right. I mean, not only tonight do they have to battle that, but they also have to battle of, hey, a month ago we got beat by 60 points, and that's might be something that none of these kids have ever experienced before. But tonight, it's a night for them to challenge themselves, to come out, see how competitive they can be, see how long they can keep this game going. And like we said last week in the game, Brian, we had, can they get the game to the fourth quarter and put a little pressure on Ontario?
And they might be catching Ontario at the right time. They have struggled over the last several weeks. Ontario has to come on the road.
Yep.
This historically has not been an easy place to play.
Well, and again, it's always a lot more fun to play at home. It's a lot easier to play on the court that you practice on. And tonight it's going to be something different for Ontario.
We're going to pause now for the playing and singing of our national anthem. Just moments away from the opening tip-off here at Clear Fork High School, where the Colts are taking on the Ontario Warriors. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for Ontario, under the direction of head coach Tim Mergel, they are led by Braxton Hall, who averages 10 points a game. Gage Weaver with 13 points a game, almost 7 boards per contest, and he shoots 55% from the floor. And Carter Weaver with a team-high 36 assists. That rounds out the starting 5 for Ontario. For the Clear Fork Colts, under the direction of first-year head coach Tim Bradford, Victor Skoog, who really lit things up on the football field for the Colts. He is back and starting in the backcourt for the basketball court. Colts averages almost 8 points a game, almost 4 assists per night. Those numbers rank 4th in the MOAC, the assist numbers. And he's joined by Adam Van Osdale, averages almost 9 points a game, shoots 54% from the floor. You also see Caden Riddle in the starting lineup, who was very successful as a football player, and Tim Bradford is excited to have him back and part of this program. He did not play last year, or most of last year, and he's come back to play for his senior season. So he brings a little bit of a physical presence inside for the Colts.
Well, it's interesting when you look at Clear Fork's roster. They don't have anybody averaging in the 10-point range in double figures, but they have 6 players averaging around 6 points. Well, I guess the positive is the opposing team doesn't know who's going to get hot on any given night. But the negative is from a coach, and I don't know how you were, Brian, but for me, it was always nice to have that one kid or maybe 2 kids that you could count on. They were going to get 20 in the book every single night. Clear Fork doesn't have that, so they're going to have to spread the wealth.
Well, Tim Bradford told me they're going to run a lot of motion, a lot of 5 wide, 3 out, 2 in, 4-1, and they're going to try to move the basketball and create opportunities. One of the things he told me was one of the challenges was kind of redefining roles of guys who came back from, the program that Coach Bechtel was running here,
right,
and telling guys, okay, now we want you to do this, and getting them to adjust to that, and then developing the program overall fundamentally. And he said it has been a big challenge, especially at a school like this that is used to winning when you look at what they have done on the football field.
Right. Well, and you look in their basketball, I'm looking straight ahead at a boys basketball state championship team at 25-2. So they've obviously, I know they've had success in basketball also. But, a lot of people think when a new coach comes in, well, hey, skills are skills. Well, yes, they are. Skills are skills. Shooting is shooting. But as you mentioned, roles change. And when your roles change, your skill level, it might be emphasized differently than what it was. Maybe you're more of a ball handler now. Maybe you're more of a distributor right now. And when your role changes, the skills that are needed change.
Well, and that's what Coach Bradford told me. He said, I'm now getting these guys that are good athletes and trying to get them to understand and buy into tapping into their basketball ability.
Well, and I think one other advantage, when I think about a Clear Fork kid, I think about a kid that's going to give it his all, that's going to just battle. And it's so much easier as a coach. And we've talked about this at great length, Brian. It's so much easier as a coach to try to rein them in. It's so much easier as a coach to try to teach skill level to somebody that has pretty good athletic ability than somebody that really struggles in that department.
Okay, so now you have really kind of the contrasting roles as you look at these 2 programs that are in transition. You have him really trying to build this up from scratch, especially from what they did last year, suffering through an 0-23 season, to Tim Mergel, who replaces arguably one of the best coaches, and I have to be careful when I say that because of the man sitting next to me.
Fighting words, baby.
But one of the best coaches to ever coach in this area.
No question.
So there, the expectations are already set. There you have players that do have the basketball IQ, and it's not a quote-unquote football school. In fact, they'll tell you Ontario's a basketball school, and that's probably something the football program struggles with.
Well, that very well could be, and I'm sure when it comes to Tim Mergel, and I know Tim used to coach for me at Mansfield Senior a little bit before he went to his alma mater at Madison, and Tim knows that he didn't have to come in and start all over again. He didn't have to tear down and build up. Yeah, he had a lot of new players, but the program that Joe had put together obviously was a successful program, and Tim just has to put his stamp on it, and I'm sure that's what he's done over the last year and a half.
So which challenge do you think is bigger?
Well, if you're asking me which one I like the most, personally, I like to coach at a place where expectations are very, very high. And I know at Ontario, because of their success, expectations in basketball are very, very high. That's not to say that they're not high here in Clear Fork. But, again, I'm totally an outsider. When I think of Clear Fork, I think of kids that are rough, tough, successful in football, and then they come to basketball and give great effort. When I think of Ontario, I think of a program where every year they probably come into the season thinking our objective number one is to win the conference. Number one, and then we'll worry about tournament success.
Now, the interesting thing, you talked about the toughness and the physicality, and I asked Tim Mergel, what do you want to put as your stamp on this program? And he talked about coming from the OCC and the physical play of the Mansfield Seniors and the Madisons and the Ashlands. And he goes, I want to bring that to the Ontario program.
Well, and I think that's smart. I mean, I still think the OCC is the strongest league around, top to bottom. Not that these teams haven't stepped in and beaten OCC teams.
Caden Riddle missed the first shot of the game for the Colts, and Ontario with their first possession. And Coach Bradford told me we would see this, a 3-2 zone to try to neutralize the shooting of the Ontario Warriors.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. I think that's a great idea, put pressure on shooters. I still think the objective has to be take away the inside, and that's something he can do with the zone. They force a turnover right away. Maybe it surprised Ontario a little bit.
Well, and you saw that possession right there. You're not moving Caden Riddle off the block. Yeah. He is big, he is strong, and he is physical. And maybe he figures that on the inside part of that zone, number 0 can handle that. Perimeter shot, and the first points of the game for Adam Van Osdale, the junior, and the Colts are on the board.
And you mentioned to me before the game that Tim talked to you about getting ball reversal. That was good ball reversal. Good skip to an open shooter. Here's an open three by Ontario, but hey, again, take away the inside first, get a hand up on shooters.
Looking for ways to attack this 3-2 zone.
The only thing I would like to see more, and we've talked about this over the years, Tim, is when you're going to play zone, get your hands up. Make yourself big. Take away some passing angles.
You get the ball inside. They kick it out, and an open three in the corner is no good, and the rebound down to Mason Pipes. Pipes, another one of those football players. Very good receiver. Riddle open for 3. And that rimmed in and out. And the big guys love shooting the 3.
Oh, they do. There's a good penetration, good kick. That's 0 for 3 for Ontario. The first time they played just back in December, 8 for 20 from the three-point line. That's pretty darn good shooting.
Another open jumper from outside by Grant Spencer, the junior, is no good. And a battle for the basketball, and it comes away, and Clear Fork will keep it at this end of the floor.
First player on the floor, Clear Fork player. That's a good sign. Coach Bradford has to be happy with that.
Riddle. Little
Nice.
off balance from the block. And here comes Ontario in transition. Nice shot fake and a strong move inside. That's going to be a foul on Riddle. As Carter Weaver, the 6'4 junior, will go to the line.
And I think that's a smart move by Carter Weaver. I mean, they're 0 for 3 from the three-point line. He had the three-point shot. But take the ball to the basket, especially early in the game. Get the ball to the basket. Get some freebies. They're going to the line shooting 2. It'll be interesting to see if Tim Mergel wants to give a little full-court pressure on a score. The last time they played, Clear Fork committed 26 turnovers. You know, Brian, it's tough to be successful with 26 turnovers.
Weaver makes them both. It's now a 1-point ball game.
Good pressure causes the turnover. That's turnover number 1 for Clear Fork. All because of good pressure defense getting in the passing lanes.
Well, you know that was taught to Ontario Warrior basketball players from the womb, is coming out and playing good half-court defense.
Oh, exactly. Defense is what wins. There's a good skip pass for a 3.
Offensive rebound doesn't go, but Clear Fork with an opportunity to add to a 3-2 lead.
Van Osdale.
And he misses, and Clear Fork now running to play defense at the other end, and Ontario struggling in transition. And they've yet to really, I don't know if it's the zone defense that they're going up against, but they really haven't found that groove yet offensively.
Yeah, and that was just not a good transition. It was 2-on-1, but they didn't really spread the offense and make the defense have to guard a big area, and it was just a tough pass to handle. Credit to Clear Fork causing the turnover.
Victor Skoog drives in the lane, doesn't go. And the Warriors push it up the floor. Doing a pretty good job of moving the basketball, and they're an open 3. Now they kick it back into the corner, and another shot rims out, and Clear Fork clears the rebound.
I think this is smart how Clear Fork's playing right now. You're giving some open shots. I know Ontario is a pretty good perimeter shooting team, but hey, listen, first time you guys played, you got beat by 60. You're going to have to take some chances, and that's one. As much pressure as you can against three-point shooting. Good turnaround jumper in the lane. That was not an easy shot, no dribble, just a good pivot, turnaround jumper.
Spencer with his first bucket. And a turnover, and here come the Colts in transition. This does not look like the team that lost by 60.
Again, the longer they can stay in it, the more pressure it puts on Ontario.
Bradford told me he feels this team is playing vastly different now than it was at the beginning of the season. Another 3 in the air off the front of the iron.
Now they're spreading the court.
Up ahead to Gage Weaver, who lays it up and in.
Gage Weaver's quite an athlete. I've been reading about him and all different. What is soccer? Is that it in the fall where he's an outstanding player?
Clear Fork still up. Ontario has not led. And that is a three-pointer up and good by Spencer.
Clear Fork also doing a good job getting back defensively. Ontario really pushing the ball on mades and misses.
Spencer with a shot fake over to Skoog.
First time these two teams played, Brian, the highest scoring quarter for Clear Fork, they scored 8. Right now they have 8. Chance to increase that. Nice hustle.
Ball on the floor, and Clear Fork comes away with
pass.
It. Nice look inside, and the sophomore, Garrett Hawks.
Right place, right time, but nice pass inside, nice post entry.
And the Colts up by 6 as we approach the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Caden Riddle up off the bench, and he will come in at the next dead ball. There you talked about the hands up, and it creates a turnover for the Colts.
You always want to play with active hands, especially in a zone. Open 3.
Skoog hit from outside, and a timeout taken by the Warriors. And the rematch looking vastly different than the first game. The Colts up by 9 in the first quarter.
I tell you what, they're playing awfully well. I think they're giving up some open three-point shots, but you're going to have to give up something. And they're giving some open three-point shots, but Ontario has not showed that they can hit them yet tonight. I'm sure that Coach Mergel is talking to his kids saying, listen, we got good shooters. We're getting good shots. Let's keep shooting the basketball. But I'll tell you, when I came in tonight, I saw Tim. I asked him,
now,
what do you
which
think?
one? They're both
That's right.
named Tim.
I saw Tim Mergel. I was talking to Coach Mergel, and I said, what do you think? And he said, listen, I just hope to get out of here with a W. I know it's going to be a dogfight. So he knew it, but it's another thing if the kids knew it.
They stay in the 3-2 zone.
And why not? It's been working so far.
They look high post. And all of a sudden, another turnover for Clear Fork. And they've really been able to do a nice job of turning Ontario over.
They just out-muscled Ontario for the ball.
Drive to the basket by Carter Weaver.
I think that was an adjustment during the timeout that Coach Mergel made, was trying to get the ball to the high post. If you can get the ball to the high post against the zone, you can do a lot of damage. That time just a little bit over-dribbling to the post caused the turnover, but Ontario gets the rebound, comes down, and gets a chance to go to the free throw line. I believe out of Ontario's 5 points, 3 are from the free throw line so far. So free throw line's been good to him tonight.
Weaver is 3 for 3, make that 4 for 4. And Ontario pulls to within 7. Skoog gets cut off but throws it down on the right side block.
That's it. Good skip pass. Reverse the floor.
Nice.
Good move.
Logan Anderson, the senior, with his first bucket. And we talked about none of the Colts averaging in double figures.
Right.
They've had 5 different scorers tonight here in the first quarter. And another unforced error. And the ball goes back to Clear Fork.
And we've talked about ball reversal so often, and there's a direct correlation between ball reversal and success offensively. Clear Fork's done a good job with the skip pass. Last time, because it's a long closeout against a skip pass, a great job of dribble penetrating and getting to the basket.
We saw Clear Fork last year, and this, to me, they look physically and mentally like a different team.
Yeah, I think we saw them play against Marion Pleasant one game, but I remember they played awfully hard. But you expect that, I guess, from a Clear Fork kid. And to be honest with you, I expect it from any 15, 16, 17-year-old.
Timeout on the floor with 28 seconds to go. Brian Harter, Gregg Collins from Clear Fork High School. And the first time these two teams met back in December, it was all Ontario, 82-62. In fact, Tim Mergel, as the Ontario head coach, is 3-0. He has yet to lose to Clear Fork, and he's trying to keep that streak intact here tonight, but they're down here in the first quarter.
Well, and I remember how many Ohio State football coaches had yet to lose to Michigan, your Michigan Wolverines.
The streaks have to come to an end
at some point. They have to come to an end, so they are going to. You're right.
The overall series, Ontario with a 52-35 edge.
I think it's smart by Clear Fork right here. Be patient. There's 12 seconds left. Get the last shot of the quarter. Now they have a turnover. Ontario, if they hurry, is going to get a good shot.
Floater in the lane is good, and that will do it as Carter Weaver ends the first quarter with his first field goal of the night. 1 quarter in the books, and Clear Fork with a 15-8 lead. We'll be back to the Corral right after this.
In today's world of supply chain shortages and disruptions, having raw material or finished goods inventory on hand to fill customer orders is more important than ever. Based in North Central Ohio and with locations nationwide, including 5 throughout the Buckeye State, MWD Logistics can find your business the warehouse space needed to manage your distribution and logistic needs. Grow your bottom line with flexible warehousing solutions at MWD Logistics.
Clear Fork with a 15-8 lead. Actually, a 15-9 lead as we start the second quarter. Evidently, they felt that Gage Weaver's jumper was a 3. And another missed jumper from outside, and Ontario retains possession.
Still not able to hit the perimeter shot besides that last runner from the three-point line of the quarter. But you see the adjustment again that Tim Mergel has made. Get the ball to the high post. From there, we'll play out of it. Good kickouts, just not able to hit that outside shot.
Carter Weaver rims one out. Colts playing with a lot more confidence.
Well, you're talking about 15 points in the first quarter. They did not score that in either half the first time they played. So they got to be feeling pretty good about their offense.
There was not a Clear Fork Colt in double figures in that first game, and for Ontario, they had 3. Grady Schroeder had 17. Braxton Hall, who hasn't scored yet tonight, had 14, and Carter Weaver had 11.
You know, I'm thinking with a 60-point lead, those were the kind of games that you and I kind of got into with it. You know, the coach would say, all right, Collins, come on, you can play.
All right, Harter, you can come in and play now.
Don't screw things up, though, Collins, you hear?
Well, I would argue we're already down 40 or 50. I can't make it much worse.
Or if we're
Let her rip.
Or if we're up 50, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I'm not taking the ball out of bounds, and I'm not passing.
Ontario with the basketball.
Ontario's used 2 timeouts this first half, something that could come in key in the second half. Good ball reversal, a little wheel action, bring a guy baseline, just not able to knock down. They're getting good looks, just not knocking it down. Until they do, I think Clear Fork's going to say, listen, we're going to stay in this zone, and if we leave you open, we leave you open.
Well, I tell you what, from what we saw of this team last year, they're different with Caden Riddle. He gives them a physical presence. He gives them rebounding.
And that's so key. When you can limit the other team to 1 shot each time down and maybe get an offensive board.
Almost on cue, Caden Riddle gets his first bucket of the night, and the lead for the Colts is back up to 17-9.
But not just a good offensive rebound, but a good step through, a good pivot, and nice soft touch with his left hand. Very nice move.
Of course, he's an All-Ohio football player, offensive lineman. We even saw him get a carry in the offensive backfield at the end of the Elyria Catholic game last year.
Oh, that's every lineman's dream, isn't it?
There he grabs that rebound.
Smart move. When you're falling out of bounds, just throw it up to your big man. Usually you don't like to throw it under your own basket, but
Skoog from outside.
yeah, he's feeling it. That's maybe a little quick, but I'm telling you, he's feeling a couple of steps outside the three-point line. He had the confidence, an 11-point lead.
Skoog with his second three-pointer. And the Warriors continue. There's a nice take to the basket by Carter Weaver.
And it good. It was inside-out pass. Again, a long closeout against an inside-out pass. And he takes advantage and gets the ball right to the basket.
Skoog goes behind the back. And
nice
up
pass ahead
on the turnover. And Braxton Hall with his first bucket in transition. And he pulls Ontario within 7.
I think it's the first little run that Ontario has had today, and it is only a 4-point run.
Well, and you knew that was going to come.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
Howie Alt into the ball game, number 1, another one of the outstanding football players on this basketball team, and a nice jumper again outside from Spencer.
Well, it was. It was about a 17-footer, and just, again, pivot, squared up, and nice jumper, good touch. Breaks the little 4-0 run that Ontario had going. Oh.
Kick it outside, and Alt there on the backside for the rebound.
Yeah, you see a lot of that with young kids. You know, they penetrate to the paint. They could come down to a 2-foot stop and be about 5 feet from the basket, but they kick out to 3. Again, if it's Stephen Curry, yeah, that's a good kick out.
Skoog able to get his hand on it, and he knocked it off of one of the Ontario players, but are they going to give it to Ontario? Here, look at the replay. I don't know if you could see, but Skoog reached in. That's the right call. Knocked it off of the foot, and the Colts will get the basketball.
Well, Charlie Scott and this crew is one of the better crews around. They do an outstanding job. And, you know, you like how if they didn't have a great view, they ask their partner and come up with what they think the correct answer is. Again, remember, the first time these two teams played, Clear Fork, 26 turnovers. Tonight they're doing a much better job handling the basketball.
Only 3 turnovers here so far in the first half. Skoog with a tough take to the basket. He'll go to the line, and on the other side of that, they forced 7 turnovers for Ontario.
And a couple of those turnovers by Ontario maybe really weren't forced by Clear Fork, but you know, again, Clear Fork zone has been giving a little difficulty to Ontario.
Skoog at the line, and he now has 7. He's hit a couple threes.
Now, the first time these two teams played, I didn't see the game, I didn't see the tape, but when you look at the stats, Clear Fork only went to the free throw line 5 times. That tells me they weren't aggressive. Tonight they're being much more aggressive. That right there is an example of getting the ball to the basket.
Another timeout on the floor. 3:25 to go in the first quarter. It has been all Clear Fork here so far as they have doubled up the Ontario Warriors 24-12. Ontario started the season 5-1, and Tim Mergel had to be very excited about what he was seeing early, but since then they have struggled, losing 6 of 8. And I'll tell you what, if teams are going to watch this tape tonight, they're going to start seeing a lot of 3-2 zone.
Well, you're probably right. And the first adjustment that Coach Mergel made was putting someone at the high post and concentrating on getting the ball there. I think that's been effective, though the high post players looked out to the three-point line more than what I would like to see for a team that's struggling tonight. But then again, you know, Coach Mergel knows his team. You know, I'm sure he's telling him, you guys are good shooters. You're a 40% shooter. If you are 0 for 3, the percentages say you're going to make the next 1 or 2. So, but Clear Fork's saying, listen, we're going to wait till you do.
Ontario with the basketball. Looking inside again, Clear Fork staying in that zone. They have been in this 3-2 zone from the start.
They have, and again, high post, kick out.
Those active hands forcing it out of bounds, and Ontario will keep possession.
Now, if you're Ontario, if you're a fan, you're thinking, all we got to do is knock down 1 and then the floodgates will open. Well, we'll see if that happens. There they get a 5-footer that just doesn't fall for them, and Clear Fork is quick.
They miss from the outside. Skoog chases it down, but it goes out of bounds. It will go to Ontario. And basketball is such a funny game. You mentioned they've been getting a lot of, I don't want to say easy looks, but they've been getting good looks at the basket.
Yeah, and you know these are the shots that these kids take all summer. They have the shooting apparatus, the gun, and they're probably just living out there shooting three-point shots with no defense and pressure or very little, and it's just not falling tonight.
And there's another example of it. Has another missed shot in the lane by Gage Weaver. Force the ball up ahead. 3 in the air, and again another missed jumper, and up ahead to Adam Van Osdale. And Ontario with a nice job of getting back in transition, and a block by BP Miller.
That was a good block and stayed with it. Just gets high up, right off the glass. And then a second block, and they get the turnover, and Ontario gets the ball back. But again, trying to find a way to get that ball into the hoop. That lid is still there on the Ontario basket.
You mentioned the gun, and that if anybody doesn't know what the gun is, you see a turnover, and Clear Fork gets the basketball. You set it up under the basket, you shoot the basketball, and then it funnels the ball back to the shooter. And I was talking to Tim Bradford before the game, and he was telling me new things that he was looking through the equipment and things, and he goes, and I needed to get a gun. And I was like, well, has the transition been that difficult that you need a gun down here?
Yeah, well, the gun took the place in the old days. You used to have your girlfriend.
One of the little cheerleaders decided she wanted to be a part of the action. I don't know if we could see it here on the replay. There she is.
And an open shot. Did you see Holtz? Our Brady Zahe right there, I think, was wide open and ready to shoot it.
So no harm, no foul. Ontario keeps the basketball. We're under 2 minutes to go. And even the Clear Fork cheerleaders are getting in on the defensive effort.
I should have thought about that in the day. I'd have loved to throw some cheerleaders out there just to get in the way of some players.
Great strategy, a perfectly placed 8-year-old.
Here, look at the high post. Instead, they took the perimeter shot, but they fouled the shooter.
Now, the foul was after the shot that was launched by Carter Weaver. Now, watch here, Brian.
Look at the high post is open there. You saw Zahe flash to the high post. I'd love to keep getting that ball to the high post. It doesn't have to come from the slot from up high. It can come down from the corner, but keep feeding the high post and play out of that.
Carter Weaver misses his first free throw on the night. Now all the junior cheerleaders are getting the warning, stay off the floor. But they're like, she did it.
Yeah.
Weaver can make 2 out of 3. A 10-point lead for Clear Fork.
Just a few minutes ago it was down to 7. But Clear Fork's done a great job of building it back up, now to 9. And we see a little full-court man right now. Haven't seen any trapping by Ontario.
Skoog wisely pulls it out and sets up. As we approach the 1-minute mark of the first half, a rapidly moving first half.
Nice pass.
Nice look backside, and a foul is going to be whistled on Braxton Hall. That's his first.
Grant Spencer did a good job of driving baseline, drawing the help side defense. Nobody rotated over. He makes a nice bounce pass inside for what looked like a bunny, but ends up being 2 free throws.
Mason Pipes misses the first one. Pipes, a 5'10 senior, another one of the football players out here for Tim Bradford.
We've had a very clean game with only 4 fouls for Ontario and 3 fouls for Clear Fork. And, you know, you like to see that. Let the kids play. They're playing hard. They're being physical. But, you know, I haven't seen anything that's justified a foul that hasn't been called.
Miller kicks it into the corner. They go down inside, and a post-up move by Gage Weaver.
And that was a good little jump hook, but a good job of feeding the ball inside the post. And, you know, I think Tim Merkel would like to see maybe a little bit more of that.
And he took it right to Caden Riddle. Shot in the outside, a three-pointer is good by Van Osdale, his second 3 of the ball game.
And again, inside-out passing. Penetration inside, kick out to an open shooter, and shooting with confidence today.
5 threes in the first half for Clear Fork.
I believe just 1 for Ontario, and that was the end of the quarter maybe.
Shot from the corner, and talking about threes, Zay hits a 3, and that will do it for the first half as Clear Fork jumps out to an 8-point lead at the intermission. You're watching boys high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Enough about me, show, starring me.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I will soon, soon. Know as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way.
Coffee light on the soy milk and gently stirred.
Don't forget the sugar this time either.
I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dying.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid Ohio job market and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
Welcome to the Mechanics Bank Halftime Show. I am Brian Harter along with Gregg Collins, and we have a very large supporting cast now. They are allowed on the floor as the, I don't know if there's a special name for this group, the Clear Fork Mini Cheerleaders, and some of them tried to actually get on during the game, but now they're allowed and they have control of the floor as we take a look at the halftime numbers. And if you're Tim Mergel and your coaching staff, you're trying to figure out now how to break a 3-2 zone.
Well, no question. His first adjustment was to get players to the high post, get it to the high post, and play out of that. Now, they did a lot more of playing out of the high post by kicking to the perimeter. Maybe they'll start kicking the ball inside or have the high post player be a little bit more aggressive. I think the last move inside, I think it was a Gage Weaver that was posting up in there, or it might have been Carter Weaver, one of them. I'm not sure which one. It was a Weaver, I think, that was inside the post, had a good post move. But, you know, when you're struggling to score, and certainly Ontario has been the entire first half, I still think you want to try to get the ball inside via transition penetration, and they're trying to do that, but Clear Fork's doing a real good job of getting back on defense, or offensively playing inside and then out and then maybe right back inside. But once that ball goes inside out, that shot's been going up and it just hasn't been falling, with the exception of the end of the first quarter with the running three and the end of the second quarter with a Zahi running baseline behind the defense and getting a good look from the corner.
Now, Clear Fork has hit 5 threes in the first half. Victor Skoog has 2 of them. He leads them in scoring with 8 points. Carter Weaver has 10, but he's only got 2 field goals. They only have 4 field goals overall as a team. They've hit a couple threes, but Clear Fork has played very well from the perimeter especially. They've even out-rebounded Ontario 17-11, and they've gotten to the free throw line 4 times, hit 3 of those. Ontario has actually gotten to the stripe more, but the turnovers for Ontario, they've got 8.
They have 8. And tell me if I'm wrong, Brian, but as we classify field goals with Ontario 4, Clear Fork 5, those are field goals inside the arc.
Yes.
Exactly, inside the arc. Yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me what stat stands out, I would have a hard time deciding. You know, from a team that got beat by 60 points, every stat here stands out to me. But the one I'm going to talk about is the boards. 17-11. Ontario is just having a difficult time getting second shots. Clear Fork doing a great job of limiting to 1 shot. And Ontario's not able to, again, knock down that 1 shot, and Clear Fork's taking advantage.
Now, for as well as Clear Fork has played in the first half and all of the things that we've just talked about, the rebounding and the shooting, Tim Mergel has to be happy. They're only down 6.
Well, you're exactly right.
Or down 8, I'm sorry.
Yeah, down 8, but you're talking, again, about a running 3 at the end of the first quarter and a good set that they had here at the end of the second quarter. But you're right. You know, they certainly have not played their best basketball. So I'm sure he's in there, you know, maybe making a couple of adjustments, but, you know, telling the kids you just keep doing. You got to keep playing hard. And, you know, you guys are a good basketball team. You're a good shooting team. You know, don't hesitate. If a good shooter has a good shot, you got to continue to shoot it. But if you're Tim Bradford, you got to feel good right now.
Now, completely off the subject, I run into you occasionally at the Mansfield Y, and I know that you're very physically active, but I can guarantee you most, if not all, of these young ones out on the floor could run circles around both of us.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. No question. I can tell you that I have a granddaughter that is about the age of those girls in the front. She lives, my son and his wife live in Florida. And when we visit, I can only take about 2 hours, and then I tell my wife, you know, I got to take a nap.
Time.
They're all yours. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Now back to basketball. If you're Tim Bradford and you have seen, obviously this team has put the 60-point loss behind them.
Yeah.
What now do you want to guard against in the second half?
Well, you certainly don't want to play not to lose. You want to continue to play to win. They've been aggressive. They have, if a shooter has been open, they have shot it. You want to make sure that the kids continue to play loose. Don't go out there and try to hold the basketball and try to win this game 28-20. It's just not going to happen. Stay loose and, hey, keep doing what you're doing and, you know, keep playing as you said. You know, that zone is going to stay until Ontario proves they can beat it.
Victor Skoog leads them in scoring with 8 points, but they have put 7 different Colts in the scorebook, and that balance is something that he has to be very happy with. Now, on the other side, Carter Weaver has 10. He's only got 2 field goals, the rest of that from the line. Other than that, Gage Weaver has a 3 and a 2, and Braxton Hall has a bucket, and that has been it for the offense for Ontario.
And anything that's been inside, Clear Fork has done a good job of putting some pressure on it, getting a hand up. Anything from the outside, though, Ontario's had some good looks. But I still think if you're Ontario, if you're Tim Mergel, you're saying, let's get the ball to the basket. Let's try to get some bunnies. Let's try to get to the free throw line. Neither team got to the 1-on-1 that quarter. You know, that would be an objective if you're both teams this half. Be aggressive and get some freebies at the line.
We're going to take a timeout, and then we'll come back with the third quarter here from Clear Fork. The Colts up by 8 at the intermission.
In today's world of supply chain shortages and disruptions, having raw material or finished goods inventory on hand to fill customer orders is more important than ever. Based in North Central Ohio and with locations nationwide, including 5 throughout the Buckeye State, MWD Logistics can find your business the warehouse space needed to manage your distribution and logistic needs. Grow your bottom line with flexible warehousing solutions at MWD Logistics.
Colts with an 8-point lead at the intermission. Brian Harter, Greg Collins here at the Corral, and Clear Fork looking to get their 6th win of the season, their 3rd win in conference play. And I had an opportunity to sit down with the new Clear Fork Colts before the ball game, very engaging. And I have to share this story. He was telling me he is the stepfather of the athletic director here, Jessica Brokaw, who, by the way, thanks to Jessica for everything that she does for OH Report. She takes care of us when we come down here. But he was sharing this story with me that he was coaching this travel team that had these girls on it, and Jessica wanted to be on this team and was trying to convince him to give her a spot, and he kept saying no, and well, he was single, her mother was single. She came to pick Jessica up, and then he's like, practice is tomorrow at 4.
Yeah,
have
there
a
you
spot
go.
On our team.
A new starter.
Well, I don't know if she was put into the starting lineup, but she definitely got a jersey. Ontario starts with the basketball here in the 3rd quarter.
Difficult
they turn
call.
It over.
Yeah, difficult call there. Ontario forces the turnover, gets a run out, but they get the offensive charge. Coach Mergel's not real happy with that, but Coach Bradford is. So we got one Tim High happy and one Tim upset.
Hayden Riddle is fouled on the reach-in by Braxton Hall. That's his 2nd.
Yeah, it looks like Ontario decided at halftime that they're going to come out and be a little bit more aggressive. They get the turnover on the first possession, and they're trying to force a turnover here on the 2nd.
Ontario will play man. Skoog pulls it up, tries to dump it down to Riddle, can't handle the pass, and it's a turnover, and it will head the other way.
And Ontario's off and running. Again, Clear Fork does a good job getting back. I like to see that. Penetrate to the paint, play off 2 feet. First half, I thought they would have kicked that out. That time they try to finish.
Landon Foltz does just that, gets his first bucket.
And they're within 6.
You know, or at least you expect at some point, Ontario's going to mount a run. as the missed perimeter jumper, but Caden Riddle right there with the rebound, and he's unable to connect.
Great hustle, though, to get the offensive rebound.
Quickly at the other end, the pull-up, and the shot is good by Hall. He's got 4 here in the third quarter, and it's a 4-point ball game. Ball out of bounds, and what?
I think Clear Fork calls timeout. I think Coach Bradford sees a little run coming by Ontario, so wants to break momentum.
Well, and he's an interesting story. He's a guy, as we mentioned in our pregame, this is his first job as a boys basketball coach at the varsity level, but that does not mean he doesn't have any coaching experience. He has been coaching boys and girls for the better part of the last 40 years.
Right, and he's been around basketball. Besides coaching at AAU, he's been a fan and followed basketball, played basketball, so he knows the game, and I'm sure he has a way that he wants his players to play.
Graduated from Crestview High School way back in the day, as they say, and he played on a travel team. I don't know if you would really call it a travel team, but they played exhibition games against colleges and played with Joe Jakubik, Leo Brown. It was almost like an all-star team. Riddle unable to connect, ball out of bounds, and this should go to Ontario. But let's see what they're going to do here.
They're going to stay with Clear Fork, so you're 0 for 2 on these now, Brian.
They have a better angle.
Yeah.
Well, I did get the one that Skoog hit off of the foot of the Ontario player. I did get that one, so I'm 1 for 2.
Well, we're not counting that. So
we're not counting the win.
No. Here's a good kick, penetration, but again, Ontario's forcing their third turnover, I believe, of this half. Nice penetration.
Jump stop.
Just can't finish.
And that has been Ontario's MO all night long. They get close to the basket, they get open threes, and they just can't knock them down.
No, but I like what they're doing is getting the ball to the hoop. Good Euro step. You saw the Euro step where he stepped in. Watch him here. He steps in, then goes back to the left and gets fouled. Goes to the line to shoot 2.
Grady Zay with the foul. That's his first. And Pipes is 1 for 2 from the line tonight. Pipes only a 52% free throw shooter on the season. He misses them both.
That means you got to be in the gym a little bit more, get some shots up. Oh,
nice
spin
inside and a good finish for Landon Foltz.
We're going to see what kind of a producer Adam is. Are we going to have that on replay at some time? That was a great move.
Nice strong take at the other end. And Riddle's there with the offensive rebound.
That was. Had to break momentum a little bit. Getting an offensive board was key. Now Clear Fork gets a chance to get back into the half-court defense. Ontario's really been pushing the ball this quarter. Now they're going to have to play against half-court D.
Nice skip pass to the corner. Offensive rebound and a foul, and it's going to send Carter Weaver back to the line. He lived at the line in the first half.
And what you notice is the Ontario knew on the skip the shot was going up. That's just what Ontario does. Now let's look at the spin. Oh, the spin
there
move.
It is.
Yeah, we saw the end of it. That was pretty. That's going on the Brian Harter highlight film that he will put together. He'll stay up tonight, get that done, hopefully by tomorrow morning. But back to the point, the last kick, it was a skip kick for a 3. Ontario knew that was going to go up because that's what it does. That's what they do. So Carter Weaver right away hit the offensive boards.
And another bunny that's missed inside, but another Clear Fork turnover. Up ahead in transition, a missed layup and a foul.
Good pass ahead.
Hotz is going to go to the line. Foul on Carter Weaver. That's his second.
Clear Fork doing a good job of being aggressive this quarter. They're getting to the free throw line, which at halftime we talked about. Now you just got to connect on them. That's 3 in a row they've missed. You did all the work. Now you got to do the easiest part, and that's to knock down the free throw.
Well, the sophomore splits the pair. He now has 3, and the lead is back to 4.
And Ontario's quick to get the ball down, but
Up ahead to Skoog. And he misses the layup, and Ontario sprinting down to the other end of the floor. And a layup by Gage Weaver. And it's now a 2-point ball game.
and another turnover. Euro step.
One Weaver misses, the other one grabs the rebound. And left alone for 3 in the corner, and no good for Carter Weaver. So Ontario has had opportunities. And a foul from behind.
That's 5 team fouls already here with still 4:15 to go in the quarter. 5 team fouls. It looks like Clear Fork's going to get to the 101 early.
Foul is on Hall, and that's his 3rd. So Braxton Hall with 4 points and 3 fouls.
That's one of Ontario's double-figure scores.
Ball batted around in the lane, and it's 1st and 10 for Clear Fork. And it will go to the Warriors, and they have an opportunity to tie it here with a 2 or take the lead with a 3.
Doesn't it look like this quarter Ontario playing with a little bit more fire in their belly? I mean, they're getting on the ground. That time they were the first ones to the ground for the loose basketball.
Well, and that's what Tim Mergel talked to me about, the physicality that he has tried to bring to this program. And there you talk about physicality, and they're going to call a technical foul. Now, as we look at the replay here, this, to me, it looked like he just lost his balance. Well, there was a push.
Yeah.
There was a push.
Yeah, I guess. Want to make sure he gets control, I guess. But
yeah, they're going to call the technical.
So Ontario down 2 will get a couple of free throw shots and get the ball out of bounds.
Well, they can tie it as Gage Weaver goes to the line. Fans here not happy, but you can see on the replay a little bit of a shove with the forearm. As we take a look at it again, watch right there.
Yeah, that happens every day in the park, though. But I'm not an official.
And we're not at the park.
That's right.
Remind me never to guard you at the Y.
Yeah, that's right. See, now, Brian, Adam, our producer, thinks it was a jump ball, so it's 2-1. So Adam and I win. So you're wrong again. Good ball movement this time by Ontario. Post entry, kick out.
Do a good job of swinging the ball around, but another missed shot. But Clear Fork comes away with it.
They just, again, besides the shots at the end of the quarter, not able to knock down that 3.
Well, Adam was asking us before the game who Clear Fork's rival was, and there might be a rivalry developing here tonight.
Yeah. It looks like Ontario, again, they're playing more aggressive this quarter. They were doing a little trapping.
Skoog with a runner in the lane doesn't go, and Ontario pushes at the other end. Clear Fork, though, with a nice job in transition getting back. 3 in the air for the lead. Clear Fork faithful wanting a foul on the rebound. That's a 2 if it goes. And Skoog with a runner on the baseline.
That's a good runner. Get the ball to the hoop. I think both teams are struggling from the line right now, or from the three-point arc. So get the ball to the hoop. If it takes an extra pass, make the extra pass, make the long closeout, and make them punish them by dribble penetrating. Here's a good post entry. Kick out, that's where I'd like to see the drive personally.
Miller chases down the miss. Wide open 3, and again it does not go. Ball batted around, and it looks like it will stay with the Warriors. There's the replay. Can't really tell, our angle's blocked there, so I'm not even going to attempt to make the call. We're just going to say it's correct.
I'm sure it is, but again, I thought the beginning of the quarter, Ontario was doing a great job of being aggressive and getting the ball to the hoop. Lately, I think they're putting up a few more perimeter shots than I would like to see.
Miller off the inbound, able to get his own miss. Ontario down by 3 with 1:45 to go in the third quarter.
Now, Brian, it used to be that kids would come to me and I'd say, hey, fella, you got to stop shooting that 3. And they would say, well, I'm open. And I would tell them there's a reason you're open. The other team wants you open.
Riddle for 3. And it sails out of bounds. And there's a hustle play right there by Logan Anderson. And it's going to stay with the Colts. And that was all because of the follow. Watch Anderson knock it off of Miller's foot.
And he was behind Miller to begin with. He just out-hustled him to the basketball and made a great play to get an extra possession. Nice move. Nice move.
Riddle backs down on the block. And he now has 6, and the lead is back to 5. And they're going to say he stepped on the baseline or a foul.
He was fouled, and I think that was a good move by Zahe again. The long pass, so the defense has to come from help side to guard the ball, and he puts the ball on the floor, attacks, and gets fouled. I'd like to see more of that. I think Coach Mergel would like to see more of that.
Mason Pipes whistled with the personal. And are they going to call 5, or are going to get Ontario are going to get their timeout? They got the timeout called with 1 minute to go in the third quarter. And you see Tim Mergel trying to get the timeout called. They're going to get the full timeout with a minute to go. And Ontario down by 5. They've had opportunities here in the third quarter. They had the technical, had 3 free throws, could not capitalize, and Clear Fork is just showing a lot of grit here in the third quarter.
Well, and they're doing it at the defensive end. They have the lead, and they've only scored 7 points this quarter. So if you're only going to score 7 points in a quarter, you better play some pretty good defense. And they have done a good job, again, forcing Ontario to shoot from the perimeter. Again, Ontario's not hitting them, only limiting, for the most part, 1 shot each time down. And it's just at the other end, on Clear Fork's having a difficult time to really score themselves, or this would be a chance to extend that lead.
Boy, and you see in these replays here the physicality that both teams are playing with. And Ontario continuing to struggle against that 3-2 zone as Tim Mergel offers some instruction to his team. And Clear Fork, I go back to that play by Logan Anderson running from behind everybody to knock the ball off of a Warrior and keep that possession alive. And they have played with that kind of hustle for the entire ball game.
Yeah, and that kind of a defensive move is only going to cause fire for your teammates. There's the first three, the third three of the night. But again, they do it in the last minute or the last seconds of each quarter.
Brings it to within 2. The jumper by Miller. Clear Fork tries to answer, and Ontario now with a chance to tie it or take the lead. Weaver.
Good move.
We are tied at 35.
I think Coach Merkel is extremely happy with that.
And at the other end, they're going to call an offensive foul on Logan Anderson as Grady Schroeder steps in and takes the charge.
Grady Schroeder saw that thing coming. He saw Anderson coming, and he just said, I'm going to hold my ground. Picked up the offensive charge, and now with a tie game, momentum in your side, if you're an Ontario fan, I still think with 25 seconds left, you want to keep momentum, so maybe hold for the last shot. You don't want Clear Fork to hit a shot at the end of the quarter to regain that momentum. And I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like every quarter what they've run is a wheel route where they'll send a guy baseline. Here they go. Ball reversal. The guy baseline comes out. There we go from behind.
Schroeder trying to get open, and they don't even get a shot off because of the Clear Fork defense. We're tied at 35 as we head to the fourth quarter here at the Corral.
In today's world of supply chain shortages and disruptions, having raw material or finished goods inventory on hand to fill customer orders is more important than ever. Based in North Central Ohio and with locations nationwide, including 5 throughout the Buckeye State, MWD Logistics can find your business the warehouse space needed to manage your distribution and logistic needs. Grow your bottom line with flexible warehousing solutions at MWD Logistics.
Well, Ontario outscored Clear Fork 15-7 in the third quarter, but Victor Skoog started the fourth with a 2, and the Colts are back on top, 37-35.
And anytime Clear Fork scores, it gives them a chance to get to their half-court defense where they've had more success than they have in transition defense in this second half.
Reach on Hotz, that's his second.
Coach Bradford is talking to his team about doubling down. He wants to double down on the post. Again, when you double down on the post, you're going to give an open perimeter shot, but I think Clear Fork right now is saying, listen, we're going to give that.
Well, a tip and another Ontario turnover. And a 3 and good for Grant Spencer. His second of the night. He now in double figures with 10.
And that was deep. Block call, and again, penetration, and we're getting close. That's going to be 16 fouls now on Clear Fork, 5 on Ontario, so we're getting close to the 1-on-1.
Foul is on Spencer. That's his first.
When you look overall at free throw shooting, Clear Fork as a team has only shot 54% this year, so they've struggled. Ontario better at 62%.
Boy, Ontario struggling to get the ball in bounds. Miller for 3.
He hit one before from right there and goes right back to his spot.
Miller, a sophomore. And Ontario back up by 2.
And those are 2 big threes by him.
Spencer on Miller.
Spencer taking the game in his own hands. Knocks down a three the last possession. Now a good dribble drive pull up for two. Gives Clear Fork the 4-point edge.
Another three, and this time Ontario finding their stroke. Braxton Hall with three, and the Warriors aren't going away quietly, and you knew that they had a run in them, and they started to chip away in the third quarter, and now they're trying to make a push here in the fourth.
And this is the first time tonight where they've hit two consecutive threes, and Coach Bradford wants to call timeout and talk to his players. I saw him motion get a hand up, and you know how we always talk about hand down, man down. They are proven to be pretty good perimeter shooting team, and Coach Bradford, that was just too wide open. Wants to make sure he has a hand up on the shooters.
Well, it took Ontario a little while to solve that zone, and as we mentioned, they were getting some decent looks, and now they're starting to drop with a little more regularity.
It'll be interesting to see what Clear Fork does, and Coach Bradford knows his team much better than me. But they've knocked down two. They had a little momentum. He calls timeout to break momentum. I still think you stay in that zone. Maybe be a little quicker to the shooter because they haven't looked in the half court. They haven't looked to penetrate as much. But I still think the zone would be a good deal if he doesn't feel comfortable with his man.
First time these two teams met in December, as a three is good by Mason Pipes. Ontario won by 60, and it is a different case here tonight. Miller for three again. Ball batted around, and this will stay with Ontario. There you see the three attempt, and
good job by Carter Weaver to go after the basketball and steal a possession for the Warriors.
Weaver with 14 into the lane.
Nice pass.
Dish inside to Gage Weaver. Gets it up in. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
We always talk about our bigs inside, and everybody's a big when you're playing against somebody inside the post area. You don't want to help inside out. That time, Clear Fork helped inside out. You're right. Weaver just did a great job of a 2-foot jump stop. Because the help came inside out, he kicks it in for a chance for a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
Oates with three. And Gage Weaver converts on the three-point play. He is now in double figures with 10.
Now, has Ontario ever led tonight?
Yes.
Did they? Okay. Not for very long, though.
No, Clear Fork has always had an answer.
Good ball reversal.
Now he's seeing a little fire in the eye of the Ontario Warriors at the defensive end.
Yeah, we said early, if you're Clear Fork, you want to get the game to the fourth quarter. Well, they've done that now.
Three in the corner, and it's blocked. But an offensive rebound, and they're going to call the offensive foul on Mason Pipes.
Now there's one big difference between high school and college. College, the help side defense, they would be in that semicircle. So that would be a defensive foul. High school, though, hey, there's no circle. So good call, and gives Ontario a chance to get the lead.
They're down by one as we're under 5 minutes to go.
Remember, before that timeout, Coach Bradford talked about getting a hand in the shooter's face.
I believe this is going to go against Pipes, and that's his third.
And that's also Team 9. So 1-on-1, and after this, they'll be shooting 2 each time at the free throw line. And again, Ontario is a 62% free throw shooting team. They have the advantage if it comes to a free throw shooting contest. It'll be interesting. How is Clear Fork going to respond now? They're down by 1, still 4:44 to go.
Well, this could go down to the wire here at the Corral as Ontario with a 1-point lead with 4.5 minutes to go. Looking inside to Riddle, who's got a mismatch.
Which I think is a good idea. He's done some very good things when he's gotten the ball in the post. Nice pass.
They find the big guy. He's fouled by Miller, and he'll have to go to the line.
And again, it was post bigs helping inside out. Now, maybe he had to. That's a tough call. But helping inside out, but Skoog just does a great job. You say he's a quarterback?
Yes.
Well, that was an example. He found the open player. It was his check down right there. And
he's not used to passing to Caden Riddle, though. Riddle is used to blocking for Victor Skoog.
I bet before practice started, there were some routes run with those two.
He splits the pair. And a timeout. Did they get the timeout? No, they're going to give it on the alternating possession.
Yeah.
They're going to give it to Ontario.
Well, 4:13 to go in this game. Tie game. You expect players to get on the floor right now. Every possession is important.
Clear Fork, for the first half, really kind of dominated the game, but they were only up 6.
Right.
And Ontario has made it very interesting here in the second half. Inside to Weaver, over Riddle, and Riddle with a big rebound.
And you're right, he played great defense. Just got his hands up, made the shot difficult, checked out, got the rebound. Downtown again.
Long-range jumper by Spencer doesn't go.
That's one he hit a couple of minutes ago. Again, every possession is important right now, and you want to make sure that you get a good shot each time down.
Miller comes out of the ball game. BP Miller with 2 threes, 2 big threes in the third quarter. Flashing across the lane against the zone. And Weaver's going to draw a foul inside.
A little ticky-tack there, but it's going to give him a chance to go to the line to shoot 2. I think back to the first half where I think each team had maybe 3, maybe 4 team fouls at the most. This quarter it's been a little bit more fouling, this half at least.
Weaver now with 8 free throws on the night. And he has scored most of his points from the stripe. He's got 16, and Ontario up by 2.
How does Clear Fork respond?
Well, Skoog dials long distance, and a rebound, and I think they're going to get that on Weaver as he came in from behind.
And Coach Merkel right away, looked at Carter Weaver and, said, hey, listen, that's great hustle. You want to see that. Yeah, it's a foul. But you don't want to just sit back. Be aggressive, get aggressive fouls. You don't want silly fouls. If you're Clear Fork, though, you got to take advantage of this. Take advantage when the other team gives you freebies. Grant Spencer is a 62% free throw shooter.
First trip to the line tonight. And he misses. It comes right back down to Caden Riddle. Huge rebound by Gage Weaver.
A little bit off balance that time on the shot, but it was a good offensive rebound. All right, and now Clear Fork, because they're down 2 with 2:50 to go, is going to go man-to-man this possession. I think he was afraid that Ontario would hold the ball.
Weaver loses his balance. And there's going to be a foul. And that will be called on Spencer. That's his 3rd. Timeout on the floor. Called by Clear Fork. 2:35 to go. Ontario with a 2-point lead. Well, take us inside each huddle now. If you're down 2 on the Clear Fork side, what are you telling your kids?
Well, it doesn't matter whether he hits these free throws or not. 1 possession, 2 possession, there's a lot of time left. When we come down to the offensive side, we have to get a good shot. If it's a good shooter that has an open 3, so be it. If not, let's look to dribble penetrate. I think they've had success pounding the ball inside. I think that's been good to them. If they have that option, go ahead and do it. If you're Ontario, you're saying, let's not give up an open 3, but let's not run it, guys. Again, it's a 2-point advantage right now. It could be 3, it could be 4. There's a lot of possessions left right here, but offensively, you're in the two-shot bonus situation. Take advantage of it. Transition, half court, be aggressive, get to the free throw line.
Landon Foltz at the stripe. He has 4. The freshman guard hits the first one.
And we've seen a lot of very good freshmen over the last couple of years.
And the lefty hits the second one. He now has 6. And the lead is up to 4. So Ontario now playing with a bit of a cushion here as we approach the 2-minute mark of the ball game. Clear Fork was able to come back last week against Gallion. Let's see what they can do here against Ontario. And an off-balance shot on the block doesn't go, but it's going to stay on this end. Spencer.
That was good defense on Spencer inside. Forced him to an offhand, kind of a combination sky hook, jump hook. Good defense, just Ontario not able to come down with the rebound. Gives Clear Fork an extra possession. Here's what I would like to see, right in there.
Riddle.
That's good.
That's hard to defend.
That is. I mean, he used his body well. He's a big, strong man, but he also uses the dribble well. Might be something there next time down. Ontario might want to have to double.
Weaver kicks it into the corner.
I think it's exactly what Clear Fork wanted to see. Hey.
Do you like that shot with under 2 minutes to go?
I want to be aggressive. You're in the bonus. I want to get the ball to the basket.
Skoog for 3.
5-point run.
Talking about aggressive, and Victor Skoog puts Clear Fork back on top, 51-50. He now has 15.
Now look at that. This is an example of hand down, man down. Now he was not at the three-point arc. He was a good, 3-4 steps outside? But still defensively, you got to play with your hands up. Play with a hand up. Hand down, man down. It was like no defender there. Skoog with a lot of confidence. Look at that. Good follow through. Kind of remind me of Reggie Miller. Remember how Reggie Miller would hold that follow through? I'm not saying Skoog is Reggie Miller now, okay? But I'm telling you, I love the follow through. Yeah, even Adam agrees with me. Adam and I, we're on this. We're Cinco tonight, baby.
The third 3 of the night for Victor Skoog, and Clear Fork holding off Ontario so far here with 1:35 to go. Wide open for the 3, and Clear Fork back on top.
Now, it's interesting here for Clear Fork. You want to win, but listen, you have nothing to lose. I mean, baby, a month and a half ago, you got beat by 60 by this team. So you've proven you're back in the same ballpark with this group. So do you give the perimeter shot, take away the inside, or do you play straight zone? It is back to a zone, which I think is a good idea. A lot of time left, 1:20 left. If I'm Ontario, I'd like to be aggressive, get to the line, or get to the basket, maybe get fouled.
Weaver.
Nice
looks
post entry.
Inside, and a foul as he tried to connect with Gage Weaver.
Now, I tell you, that was a tough pass to make, and I got to mention this. Tuesday night, because a friend of mine told me I had to watch the Ohio State women against the Iowa women,
So
there
you made
was
them
a young
lose.
girl for the Iowa women that made some great passes. I think her name was Clark. She's a great scorer, but she was a great passer. We're tied, Brian, 109.
51 all. And Weaver with the second free throw can put Ontario back on top. And it's good. And Ontario up 52-51, 1 minute to go.
I would be surprised if the hands down on Skoog now. Good ball, a ball screen right here, good idea.
Skoog into the lane, shot fake. It doesn't go. Riddle battles for the rebound. It goes back up and in by Mason Pipes.
And that was just pure determination. Great job on the boards.
Drive on the baseline, off balance shot, and an offensive and what? A foul is going to be called on Clear Fork. The foul on Adam Van Osdale, and the Clear Fork faithful are not happy.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he moved laterally a little bit. You tell me, Brian.
I think at this stage of the game, you don't call that.
Is that?
Let's
Either
see.
way, a couple of big free throws. Yeah.
And he misses the first one.
Remember, Clear Fork as a team is not a great free throw shooting team. So if you're Ontario, if you do miss this, I would foul quick. Extend the game. Now with it tied, pressure defense. Don't let them hold for the last shot.
53 all, 35 seconds. Skoog. And he'll slow it down with 25.
He's doing his Bob Cousy impersonation, doing a great job of dribbling and forcing the defense to jump back 6 feet where the clock stops for him. Good post entry.
Outside to
Get
Skoog.
it to him again. There you go.
Into the big fella. He draws the foul. And Caden Riddle will go to the line with 6 seconds left.
He did. Did he count the basket? I thought it was the basket.
No, I
was
don't
after.
think he counted the basket. The foul looked like it was on the floor. Now, that's the good news. Caden Riddle is a 45% free throw shooter.
And it is a 1-and-1.
He's 1 for 2 tonight from the line.
I think it's a good move. Get the ball into him, triple team, but they weren't going to get the ball from him.
They're going to make him earn it from the free throw line.
Which is smart, but that has worked well for Clear Fork this second half especially. He was determined.
They're going to say it's a 1-and-1. So Caden Riddle with 9 points, with 6 seconds to go, can break a 53 all tie. Got it.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but after he shot the free throw and that ball hit the rim, he attacked right away. Look at him in there rebounding. I don't think he had complete confidence in that, but it hit every part of the rim. But it was in. Oh, there's a violation, I believe, right there.
And he hit them both. Tim Mergel arguing for the lane violation. He's not going to get it. And a whistle and what? A timeout's going to be called by Ontario with 4 seconds to go. Tim Mergel wanted a lane violation.
I just glanced at it. Adam, are you going to show that again? Again, once the ball's in his hands.
That was before that.
Okay, so yeah, it must have been before that, because once the ball's in the shooter's hands, you cannot be inside the arc.
So now the Warriors down by 2, 4 seconds to go. Carter Weaver, your guy.
Yeah, I mean, do you go for 3? You go for 2? You're playing on the road. I still say go for 2. You're at the 2-point bonus. I say be aggressive. 4.2 seconds, the ball at half court. Usually we say you have as many dribbles as there is seconds. I don't know if I'd want to give 4 seconds right now, 4 dribbles, but, whoever catches the ball, you have 3.
What a ball game we have had here tonight. As Ontario trying to pull out a miracle here with 4.2. Plenty of time, though.
It is. Plenty of time to get a good shot. Clear Fork smart, though. They're not playing zone. They're back playing man-to-man.
They get it into Miller. Miller launches a three. And the rebound counts, and we are tied. Fultz, the freshman, follows the miss. And there's plenty of time. You can hear the horn sound after, and we have overtime here at Clear Fork. What a finish.
That is, and I tell you what, he was the only one in the lane. That wasn't an easy shot. Catching it, getting it off in a hurry. Fade away. Great touch.
And the Clear Fork people are stunned. A headsy move by the freshman, and we are going to play overtime here at Clear Fork.
Now, who has the advantage? Well, again, Ontario is in the bonus. Clear Fork in their next possession is going to be shooting 1-1. Overall, Ontario is a better free throw shooting team. You're in overtime. I still, just like the last 4 or 5 minutes of a game, I like to be aggressive. I want to get the ball to the basket. Yeah, if you have a dead-eye shooter and, somebody with tremendous confidence, go ahead and shoot the open three. But otherwise, ball movement, ball reversal, dribble, penetrate. Or if you're Clear Fork, I don't see any problem in feeding the ball inside to the bigs.
We've talked all the time about momentum, and I don't know who has the momentum now.
Well, I think you're right. I don't know. I think it's going to be set here early in this quarter.
Ball knocked out of bounds, so it will go to Ontario.
I would assume Clear Fork would jump back into their zone. It was smart to go man there at the end.
Inside to Weaver.
And that was a great move. As you talked about, people flashing the middle, flashing the high post. That time they get the ball into the high post. Instead of kicking it out, just square up and shoot. Good shooter from 15 feet, hard to defend.
Nice shot fake, ball poked away from behind. It will stay with Clear Fork. Gage Weaver now heating up. He's got 16. Looking inside to Riddle.
Keep feeding him. Keep feeding him.
Riddle.
That's all right. That's all right.
And they're going to call a travel on the rebound. Clear Fork's going to keep it.
I still like keep feeding Riddle. He does so many good things. And I would tell him, Ontario looks like they're doubling on the dribble now, so be ready to kick it out if you get doubled.
Pipes thought about the three, but goes
good
inside to Riddle.
Good, good. There you go.
Little fadeaway by Riddle. And Ontario with a big rebound into the hands of Weaver.
To me, that's a good move, though. A good move. They didn't double.
Three in the air, does not go, but Weaver with a big offensive rebound, and Miller's there for the putback.
They have 3 Ontario Warriors on the board that time. Clear Fork did a great job in regulation of rebounding. Here, though, Ontario takes advantage. 4-point lead. I don't know if Ontario's had a 4-point lead.
Try to go inside to the big guy, and a reach is going to be called.
This is someone if you're Ontario, you don't want to send to the line. Coming into tonight, he was 12 of 14 from the free throw line. I know if you're Coach Bradford, you wish he'd be a little bit more aggressive and get to the line more because he's such a good shooter. I hope I don't jinx him.
86% from the line.
Hope I don't jinx the young man.
And you did.
I did. Yeah, that figures.
So Ontario with a 4-point lead.
You probably, they do have to come out of their zone, maybe play a little bit more man, be a little bit more aggressive.
And Weaver has it poked from behind by Riddle.
It looked like Ontario was going to a little bit four corners, really spreading the ball, looking for dribble penetration lanes. And
actually, the foul was called on Mason Pipes. That's his fourth. So Gage Weaver back to the line. 6 of 10 from the stripe tonight. And he misses the first one. He's a 71% free throw shooter on the season, but he has struggled from the line tonight.
Still a two-possession game, so there's a lot of time if you're Clear Fork. You don't have to heave up a three. Get a good shot.
Skoog, though, backpedals for a three. Ball on the ground, and here it comes to Ontario, up ahead to Weaver. And Carter Weaver with the exclamation point, and that could be the final nail for the Warriors. And Weaver wisely slows it up with 1:40 to go. And a reach, and that's going to be a foul on Spencer. There he's taking another look at the dunk. That's personal foul number 4 on Weaver, and Tim Bradford wants a timeout with 1:32 to go. And I'll tell you what, it was a valiant effort, but it's now a 7-point lead for Ontario, and time not on the side of Clear Fork.
No, it's not. I mean, they're obviously going to have to play man-to-man, which I don't think is what they want to do defensively. But first and foremost, you're going to have to come down and score. Get a good look. Again, if it's a three, the last look was a good-looking three, but just didn't knock it down. If you have an open three, that's fine, but don't run clock just to get an open three. Get the ball to the basket, whatever score you can get, and then put on some full court pressure and try to cause a turnover.
1 minute, 32 seconds to go in overtime. Clear Fork has not scored in the extra session.
Now, they've struggled at the offensive end and they've struggled at the defensive end in this extra period.
So Braxton Hall will go to the free throw line. And he'll get 2 free throws. Hall now with 9.
Good job. Push it, get a basket, now get in some pressure.
And a foul. That will stop the clock with 1:21 to go. Fouls on Pipes, and that's his 5th. So Pipes will leave the ball game with 8 points, and he'll be replaced by Logan Anderson. And Carter Weaver back to the line. He is 8 for 10 from the line tonight.
There are a couple of players that Ontario or the Clear Fork would rather have at the line. He's not one. But there are a couple of kids out there that have struggled this year from the free throw line, but this young man is not one of them.
Weaver now with 20. And Skoog for three, and he's short. And a foul. That'll stop the clock. That'll be on Skoog. And it will send Braxton Hall back to the free throw line. I'm not used to looking at an Ontario coach talking to an official with a smile on his face.
Not tonight, that's for sure, until now.
Long three, and off the glass. Van Osdale with his third three. But we're going to march back to the other end for another trip to the line. Banks are open.
Bank, hey, doesn't matter how it goes in, just as long as it goes in.
Gage Weaver hits that one.
31 free throw attempts tonight for Ontario. 13 attempts for Clear Fork. I say that because I think Ontario's been more aggressive.
Spencer for three. And Weaver is bear hugged after the rebound.
Well, I think Tim Murgle's going to be glad to get out of here with a W. Again, I talked to him before the game, and he just said, I just want to get a W. I know it's going to be a much different game from the first time, and certainly this has been a much different game than the one back in December in Ontario.
So Weaver now with 22 to lead all scorers. Spencer for three. And it's out of bounds, and it will go to the blue and gold.
Looks like Clear Fork is now not going to try to extend the game, just play it out. Great effort by the Clear Fork Colts. You got to applaud their effort tonight. And certainly they gave Ontario everything they had. Just not quite enough.
And Ontario will escape with a 10-point win in overtime. But this is one that they earn, and this is a different Clear Fork team. And that will do it. Ontario with a 10-point lead in overtime. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. You've been watching boys high school basketball live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Enough about me. Let's start the show. Starring me.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Know as a child. so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm down to the tomb. They in the way.
Coffee light on the soy milk and gently stirred.
Don't forget the sugar this time either.
I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dying.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid Ohio job market and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
Time now for our Spherion Staffing Player of the Game, Carter Weaver, 22 points, and you guys beat them by 60 the first time, but you had to know coming down here and the fact that they've improved a lot during the course of the season that it was going to be a different matchup.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't think they had a win when we played them the first time, and we were at home, obviously, and it's always tough coming down here. They got a great student section, and the fans, so it's packed here, so I'm just happy we were able to pull off a win here.
Talk about when you guys came out and you saw that they were in that 3-2 zone. It took you a while to kind of get things going offensively.
Yeah, we have a lot of good zone sets, but most of them were like a 2-3 zone. So we were struggling the first, I'd say, like 3 quarters against it. So then we tried to get it inside more because our three-point shots just weren't falling tonight. So eventually we ended up getting enough buckets to win.
Well, unfortunately, you're a good free throw shooter because you spent a lot of time at the stripe in the first half.
Yeah, I think I was 40% a few weeks ago, but I've practiced it a bunch and then just coming out here in the game and knocking them down.
Now, you guys got off to a 5-1 start, but you've struggled as of late. What do you think has been the difference coming down here and getting a tough win tonight and being able to pull that off?
It just boosts our confidence. Win streaks are everything. So after we get this win, I think we have Crestview next. So if we can just keep rolling and rolling, then we can enter the season or enter the tournament pretty good.
Well, and you also have one road game left, and the rest of your games at home.
Yeah.
That's got to make you feel good.
Oh yeah, it is. A lot of road trips the past like 3 weeks, so we're happy we're back at home now.
Well, congratulations to Carter Weaver, our player of the game. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with the final stats right after this.
But enough about me. Let's start the show, starring me.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room. I've been so real, I'm down to the tomb. They in the way.
Coffee light on the soy milk and gently stirred.
Don't forget the sugar this time either.
I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, don't got it.
Time now for our Mechanics Bank post-game show. I am Brian Harter along with Gregg Collins, and we saw a vastly different Clear Fork team tonight. They came out and gave Ontario everything they could handle for 4+, but in the end, Ontario had just a little bit more offense, and they were able to pull away in overtime.
Well, how big of a bucket was that at the end of regulation to tie it for by the freshmen for Ontario, and then they just dominated in overtime. You're right, but Clear Fork, what a great effort. If you're Tim Bradford, you can build off this, and hey, let's compare tonight to what happened a month and a half ago. Much better result.
Well, and Carter even alluded to that when we were talking to him in the Player of the Game interview, the fact that it was a different team that they played back then. They had that at home, and they knew coming into tonight that it was going to be different.
Well, and you expect when you go on the road, but, as a basketball team for Ontario, yeah, you have to prepare like you're going to face a different team. But as a team in Clear Fork, I think you would agree with me. You tell me, Brian. I know of a lot of teams that would have just have given up. When you get beat by 60, well, we'd only want to be in the gym the next time with that team. But that's not how Clear Fork approached it. They wanted to be here. They expected to win, and they did almost everything it took to win the game, but just fell short.
Well, and they did fall short, but then you look at what Ontario did, and they did not play well offensively in the first half. They did struggle against the zone, but they were able to hang in, and they were able to be resilient as well.
Well, you're right. It certainly wasn't highlight film for open three-point shooting tonight. But when the game got close, Ontario hit a couple of big threes there in the fourth period, I believe it was, and, hit a couple of threes. But overall, not a good night for Ontario from the perimeter, but they did enough by getting the ball to the basket. Hey, look at the stats. They go to the line 27 of 34. That means you're aggressive, and they were successful at the free throw line.
Well, and we knew coming in that the battle of rebounding, Clear Fork had a big edge in the first half, and Ontario pounded the glass, and I thought they were a lot more physical coming out of the locker room in the third quarter.
Yeah, and now it from my distance watching, it seemed like Clear Fork had maybe one guy in there that was really aggressive defensively rebounding. When Ontario started to send 2 and 3 guys, it made it difficult, and they were getting their hand on the ball and getting multiple shots.
Well, the tournament draw is coming up, and neither one of these teams is going to be a top seed, but they're going to be a tough out in their sectional.
Well, and hey, you never know. They've played each other twice. They might see each other a third time.
Well, with the win, Ontario is now 8-7 overall. They're 6-4 in the MOAC, and Clear Fork drops to 5-12. They are 2-8 in conference play. The final score tonight: Ontario 70 and Clear Fork 60 in overtime. Our thanks to tonight's broadcast team. Our producer was Adam Thompson, and the fine camera work courtesy of Mason Neese. Most of all, our thanks to you for joining us. Once again, the final score from Clear Fork in overtime: Ontario 70 and Clear Fork 60. For Gregg Collins, I'm Brian Harter. So long from Clear Fork.